Hi everyone, welcome back to Hayden Sports. I just want to thank everyone who came by, watched, and the few people that came and subscribed. Thank you very much, it means a lot. Um, just have a few things that I want to talk about with you guys tonight. So, I decided to get some visuals in here. Excuse my cat. This is Maverick. I decided to get some whiteboards behind us, just so you can kind of see what I'm thinking and see what's been going on, and also just trying to make it a little more professional. So today's news and yesterday's news, late yesterday, started off Alex Pietrangelo, former captain and now brand new Vegas Golden Knight, just signed a brand new deal, 7 years, $61 million. So what I think about that is a huge blow to the St. Louis Blues. That's what happens when you have talent, and like I said, you have to pay talent. So him being the captain, wanting to stick around, he ended up winning a Stanley Cup. That was great for them. But Vegas, they want to go out. They want to impress their fans. They want to show them that they're capable of winning. So going out and getting Pietrangelo, it's good for me. And Patrick Marleau, he was recently with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they got eliminated pretty early from the playoffs in the play-in round. So he's going back to San Jose on a one-year deal, and which I think his third time back since he went to the Maple Leafs and back, and then he went to Pittsburgh and back. So third time, and you got to think maybe he's done after this. And coming over from Vancouver, Tyler Toffoli, who was great for them when he came over, and him and JT Miller, they were great ads, but they couldn't keep everyone, so he's over 4 years, $17 million to Montreal. And so now we'll talk about, since we're on the Vancouver topic, they had Jacob Markstrom, who took years and years to develop, but a great story that he ended up getting his payday. He goes to Calgary, and officially in Vancouver, it's Thatcher Demko's net. He's a great young goalie, and I love watching him personally. Like, it's out east, you can't, or in Ontario, the eastern region, you can't really see many Vancouver games unless you stay up. But him in the playoffs, and late in the season, he's, in my opinion, one of the reasons why they got into where they did and had such a great season. So, the first overall draft pick to the Ottawa Senators, Tim Stützle, he's undergoing surgery to his arm. He sustained an injury in practice, but now they're saying it might not be as bad. So either way, no better time to get surgery than the offseason, right? At least it wasn't during his NHL debut or anything like that. So I'm excited to see him. He's, like I said, he's from the DEL League, from Adler Mannheim. He played last year and was lighting it up. Germans great at pumping out players. And over to Leafs news, got to cover them, right? Jimmy Vesey, there was a sweepstakes for him, if you can remember that, a couple years ago when he was playing in the NCAA AAA, and everyone was trying to get him. And he was originally drafted by Buffalo, and never ended up going there. So a few years later now, 1 year, $900K. Some upside there, possibly. Will he crack the Leafs lineup? Maybe bottom six? That's what I think. We can always use more wing depth. And so what I'm going to say now, I want to talk about Frederik Andersen. There's been a lot of rumors that I've heard, like I'm pretty sure everyone's heard every Leafs offseason. Seems like it comes from our team the most, that is he staying and is he going? He has one more year left on his contract, and you know what? If I were him, and I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, he wants to go for it. He wants to see if he can win a cup with this team. But we don't have any goalies in the pipeline. We have Ian Scott, who is likely playing in the East Coast Hockey League this upcoming season. A lot of people are saying he's not ready for the Marlies. So he's about it we have in the pipeline, but Andersen has every right to get paid, test free agency again. If he doesn't like what's going on here in Toronto, got to do what's best for you, right? So this will be my first time actually really covering some MLB content. So last night, the Atlanta Braves take a 1-0 series lead in the NLDS against the Dodgers. What a game, right? Freddie Freeman, right off, first inning, hits a homer, gets Atlanta on the board. And right there, the pressure's on the Dodgers, right? I mean, they're thinking, we've lost in the World Series 17 and 18, underperformed the last few years in the playoffs. They have to go. They have to go to the World Series and win. They got Mookie Betts. They have amazing pitching core. They've spent over $1 billion on player salaries in the last decade and haven't won a World Series since, I think, what was it, 86? Something like that, a long time ago. And that just proves that the teams that have won since, like the Washington Nationals, for example, you don't necessarily have to pay top price to win. And it's proven that it's a pressure cooker situation, you know. I mean, you come in, you get your money, you go to the Dodgers, you go to the Yankees. Both of them haven't won in the decade. So, and the same thing that happened early on in that game. Braves player Adam Duvall took a swing, looked like he hurt his arm or something, or his back. He couldn't really tell, but he left the game. So, and now Max Fried. Max Fried started one of the best, nastiest lefties in baseball. Again, you don't really see him much if you're a fan of like an AL East team like me for the Toronto Blue Jays. But oh my, they say he's like a two-pitch pitcher, but I mean his curveball and his fastball. His curveball is one of the best things I've seen. Like him and Blake Snell, probably top two in my opinion. And they're both still in the playoffs right now, which is great. Seeing top talent still alive in the playoffs. So he went deep, dominated, big reason why the Braves won. And on the Dodgers side, the person that they got in the Mookie Betts trade, Brusdar Graterol, that they ended up getting for the Minnesota Twins, I believe, even though he had some health concerns, he is going to pay off big time. Throws 100 with sink and knows how to control the corners. He is an absolute stud. I'm convinced that he's going to be the closing pitcher of the future for the Dodgers. And that's the thing, you have to win those trades. You know, they gave up Alex Verdugo, had to give him over to the Boston Red Sox in order to get Mookie Betts. They gave up Jeter Downs, too, who was a shortstop prospect, and he's, I believe, in AAA. I think he was on the alternate training site this year for the Red Sox. I don't think he played a game. But the Dodgers have to win those trades. That's the thing. If you're those big teams, you have to be willing up to part with prospects, but also you have to have your scouts being able to know if you can obtain them in trades, which I think they did an amazing job. And Verdugo is going to be a great player when he goes over. I mean, he's going to be an everyday player. He could be there for the next 10 years for the Red Sox. It's good to see young players prospering in this game. It's amazing. So, near the end of the game, Austin Riley and Ozzie Albies sealed the deal. It was 5-1. Austin Riley struck out earlier and went deep that time. And Ozzie Albies, he was top prospect for the Atlanta Braves during their rebuild years before, you know, Acuna was there, and switch hitter. And this just shows that it is very beneficial to have switch hitters, and they're very rare. Not that they're rare, but they're rare to succeed. So they usually have a tendency to not be as good left as opposed to right, or vice versa. So he hit a homer actually batting from the right side, and that was good. It was a good win for the Braves, and they're an exciting team to watch. So, on to the next one. The Tampa Bay Rays take a 2-0 series lead over the Houston Astros in the ALDS, CS. And this game just is almost like the baseball gods were punishing the Houston Astros, in my opinion. We'll get to that in a second. So Charlie Morton actually won the World Series with the Astros the year they cheated in 2017. He pitched great. He did the job, did what he was supposed to go in and do that. And so he was an advocate, actually, for being against the Astros after. He was one of the first players to actually speak out and say, no, I know what was going on. I was in the clubhouse. And I'm glad that he did it. Not many players would have. I mean, they put their reputations on the line, their careers on the line. But the Astros don't want to hear it. But you know what? Fans aren't over it. A lot of people feel like they got cheated. So we'll talk about Altuve and Gurriel. Altuve with one throwing error. You could call it two. But it looked like he had the yips or something, and he couldn't hit his target. And the other one that they credited to Gurriel's error, ended up being a fielding error by him, and it was a very lazy play. I mean, the ball came in and out of his glove. He dropped it in front of him. All he had to do was pick it up and put his foot on the bag, but he was so nonchalant that Choi got on first. And then right after that, that was when things start just going downhill for them. Manuel Margot, who has been... He was a player for the Padres that like they really thought he was going to break out for a long time. They were like, oh, there's potential there. But they see him more as, like a Jackie Bradley Jr., which I think isn't anything to scoff at. I mean, he's great defensively. And Margot proved it last night. So he goes and hits a homer. And then makes probably the catch of the playoffs. He's running into left field, or pardon me, right field. He's running out of space, catches it, and he flips over completely. Like, this Tampa Bay Rays team is for real. And if they take out the Astros, watch out. Whoever would play them in the World Series, watch out for the Tampa Bay Rays. And I know the Blue Jays got eliminated by them, but what a better team to move on. I mean, just learning from them. Like Kevin Cash, their manager, he's one of the smartest guys in baseball, in my opinion. And he's down there in Tampa Bay, and no one really talks about him because the Rays are always, like, they're a low-budget team, and they have to find different ways to get things done. So, anyways, after the Margot hit, or home run and catch, Lance McCullers struck out 7, kept it close for the Astros, and McCullers, up and down player, but, he really shows up in the playoffs. Like, he really was not wanting to go down 2-0 to the Tampa Bay Rays, because they don't want to make it back to, having to be down 3-0, and no one's come back from 3-0. It's very difficult, especially when you got to flip over the pitching rotation and you're facing Snell and Glasnow again. So, near the end of the game, Carlos Correa kept it close again. He hit a hanger deep, but it really just wasn't enough, because after that, the well-known hitter Mike Zunino, who hits maybe 200 every year, hit a bomb, and that sealed the deal. They took 2-0, and I just have to say, I never knew how entertaining the Rays bullpen was until this year, and how they're not afraid to go out and get what they think they need. Not what they need, but what they think they need. So, for example, my favorite pitcher on their team in the bullpen is Diego Castillo. He does things with the baseball, the way it sinks, at 100 sometimes. And just the control of the sink, even though he's not a control pitcher, it's beautiful to watch. Every pitcher is different. So a lot of players, like, the Yankees bullpen will go for, like, overwhelming, like, velocity in the bullpen. But they have guys with some of the weirdest deliveries, like Tampa Bay Rays players, that I've ever seen. Like, just ones that just make you scratch your head, like submarine pitchers, to even, like, the odd time you will have a 5-pitch pitcher or something like that throws 100. But they give guys chances, and guys who are castaways, which is great, because you know what? Just because you get cut from one team in baseball doesn't mean you can't serve a purpose on another. And that's what I love to see. And I think that happened with the Blue Jays this year, where a lot of players in their bullpen that, for example, Rafael Dolis, he hadn't pitched since 2013. He'd been a really great closer in Japan, in their league, and come over, and he was an integral part of getting us to the playoffs, and even on clinch night when he closed it out for us. So, that's going to wrap it up for now. Really having fun with this. A lot of work today. Had a lot of fun putting it all together and planning for it, and got a new camera, everything like that. It's a lot of fun. And I really appreciate anyone that decides to come by and support me. It would really mean a lot if you consider subscribing. There'll be more content like this every day, if not throughout the week, as much as I can, however much news comes up during the off season. So, again, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.